This is the ASUS ROG Strix B550-F gaming Wi-Fi 2 motherboard. It's built around the AM4 socket and the B550 chipset with support for AMD Ryzen 3000, 4000, and 5000 series desktop processors. Even though AM4 is getting a little old now, it still offers tremendous value for system builders on a budget. And this model includes Wi-Fi 6E, so you can take advantage of fast wireless even on an affordable system build. The first thing we have in the box is the antenna for the Wi-Fi 6E. This thing is an addressable RGB extension cable. That's just some basic zip ties for cable management. It comes with some M.2 hardware for your drives. These are those little rubber support pads for your M.2 drives. They included 4 SATA cables, 2 with 90-degree connectors and 2 standard straight ones. This is a ROG branded keychain. And then it's just some stickers, a driver disc, and the user manual. Because it's part of the ROG Strix series, it looks a lot nicer than what you'd expect from a more budget-friendly board. There's lots of detail all over, and it's got a little bit of RGB lighting. It's an all-black design with some pinkish colored accents, and there's kind of an etched pattern on the heatsinks. If you're planning to do a gaming-focused build, this board should look pretty good in a modern case with lots of glass. We have a dual connector ATX power setup, one 8 and one 4 pin right there. That's going to be key to making sure we're getting enough power for higher-end CPUs like the Ryzen 5950X or one of the X3D models. It's got a 12+2 phase power design with the VRM hardware sandwiched under some good-sized heatsinks. It looks like a decent cooling system for this kind of power design. There's a plastic shroud over the I/O area, and the ROG logo supports ARGB, so you can play around with the lighting effects. And the I/O shield's fully integrated into the board, no separate plate to mount inside your case. That's a common feature on high-end boards, but usually not so much on budget ones. This board has 4 DDR4 DIMM slots with a maximum capacity of 128 GB of ECC and non-ECC memory at speeds up to DDR4 3200 megatransfers, and that expands all the way up to 4800 megatransfers OC. You're going to want to check the memory support list on the product webpage to make sure you're getting memory that's guaranteed to work on here. You don't want to get into your build and run into compatibility issues. Save yourself the trouble and check the list. It just takes a minute. The board has 2 M.2 slots, one up at the top near the main PCIe connector and another one down at the bottom. They're both covered with their own heat sinks, and they can support up to 22 110 type PCIe storage devices. M.2 slot number 1's connected directly to the CPU, and it supports PCIe 4.0x4 and SATA. Slot number 2 goes through the B550 chipset and supports PCIe 3.0x4 and SATA. Plus, there's 6 SATA 6 gigabits per second ports on here, but there is a catch. 2 of the 6 SATA ports are disabled when there's a drive installed in M.2 slot number 2. So that means you're going to have to choose between 1 or 2 M.2 drives depending on whether or not you need access to all SATA ports. There's 5 PCIe expansion slots on here. Slot number 1's the primary, and it's strengthened with stainless steel reinforcement to help support the crazy heavy graphics cards we have these days. It supports PCIe 4.0x16, and it's routed directly to the CPU, so that's where you're going to want to install your graphics card. Slot number 2 supports PCIe 3.0x4 through the B550 chipset, but beware, it also shares bandwidth with 3 PCIe 3.0x1 slots here, here, and here. When running this slot in x4 mode, all the PCIe x1 slots are disabled, but you can access everything at the same time if you limit whatever you install here to x1 speeds. Unfortunately, that doesn't really leave the second slot being all that useful as far as I'm concerned, so keep that in mind. It's one of the compromises that you're going to have to face for the lower cost of this board. There's 3 internal USB headers, 2 USB 2.0 headers here, and 1 USB 3.2 Gen 1 header here. And there's also a Thunderbolt header right here. Audio components are right where you'd expect in the bottom left corner. It's running a Supreme FX 7.1 channel audio codec, supporting up to 32-bit 192 kHz playback. There's a total of 6 fan headers on here. The CPU fan and CPU optional connectors are up here in the usual spot. And then we have chassis fan number 1 and the AIO pump header right here. And then we got 2 more chassis fan headers here and here. There's a 4-pin RGB header next to the CPU and OPT fan headers. And over here, there's another 4-pin RGB plus a single 3-pin ARGB header, bringing the total up to 3 for connecting lighting accessories. And you can use ASUS Aura Sync to control the lighting on compatible devices. The back I/O panel comes equipped with a BIOS flashback button, 2 USB 2.0 ports, 4 USB 3.2 Gen 1 ports, a USB 3.2 Gen 2 Type A port, a USB 3.2 Gen 2 Type C port, a 2.5 gigabits per second Ethernet port, HDMI and display port, the Wi-Fi 6E module, and the audio jacks. That gives you 8 USB ports on the back panel, plus the internal headers can support up to 6 on the front panel. That gives you a total of 14 USB ports, and I think that's really good for an affordable board. Overall, I really like this one. I think it does a good job balancing features and price. Pair it up with a Ryzen 5800X3D and a decent GPU, and you can put together a good gaming system without breaking the bank. Shopping links are down in the description, along with a full list of specs and details. Make sure you check that stuff out, give the video a thumbs up, and get subscribed for more content. And we'll see ya.